T3. T3A01. Why do VHF signal strengths sometimes vary greatly when the antenna is moved only a few feet? Multipath propagation cancels or reinforces signals. T3A02. What is the effect of vegetation on UHF and microwave signals? Absorption. T3A03. What antenna polarization is normally used for long-distance CW and SSB contacts on the VHF and UHF bands? Horizontal. T3A04. What happens when antennas at opposite ends of a VHF or UHF line of sight radio link are not using the same polarization? Received signal strength is reduced. T3A05. When using a directional antenna, how might your station be able to communicate with a distant repeater if buildings or obstructions are blocking the direct line of sight path? Try to find a path that reflects signals to the repeater. T3A06. What is the meaning of the term, quote, picket fencing? Rapid flutter on mobile signals due to multipath propagation. T3A07. What weather condition might decrease range at microwave frequencies? Precipitation. T3A08. What is a likely cause of irregular fading of signals propagated by the ionosphere? Random combining of signals arriving via different paths. T3A09. Which of the following results from the fact that signals propagated by the ionosphere are elliptically polarized? Either vertically or horizontally polarized antennas may be used for transmission or reception. T3A10. What effect does multipath propagation have on data transmissions? Error rates are likely to increase. T3A11. Which region of the atmosphere can refract or bend HF and VHF radio waves? The ionosphere. T3A12. What is the effect of fog and rain on signals in the 10-meter and 6-meter bands? There is little effect. T3B. T3B01. What is the relationship between the electric and magnetic fields of an electromagnetic wave? They are at right angles. T3B02. What property of a radio wave defines its polarization? The orientation of the electric field. T3B03. What are the two components of a radio wave? Electric and magnetic fields. T3B04. What is the velocity of a radio wave traveling through free space? The speed of light. T3B05. What is the relationship between wavelength and frequency? Wavelength gets shorter as frequency increases. T3B06. What is the formula for converting frequency to approximate wavelength in meters? Wavelength in meters equals 300 divided by frequency in megahertz. T3B07. In addition to frequency, which of the following is used to identify amateur radio bands. The approximate wavelength in meters. T3B08. What frequency range is referred to as VHF? 30 megahertz to 300 megahertz. T3B09. What frequency range is referred to as UHF? 300 to 3000 megahertz. T3B10. What frequency range is referred to as HF? 3 to 30 megahertz. T3B11. What is the approximate velocity of a radio wave in free space? 300 million meters per second. TC3. TC301. Why are simplex UHF signals rarely heard beyond the radio horizon? UHF signals are usually not propagated by the ionosphere. T3C02. What is the characteristic of HF communication compared with communications on VHF and higher frequencies? Long-distance ionospheric propagation is far more common on HF. T3C03. What is a characteristic of VHF signals received via auroral backscatter? They are distorted and signal strength varies considerably. T3C04. Which of the following types of propagation is most commonly associated with occasional strong signals on the 10, 6, and 2 meter bands from beyond the radio horizon? Sporadic E. T3C05. Which of the following effects may allow radio signals to travel beyond obstructions between the transmitting and receiving stations? Knife edge diffraction. T3C06. What type of propagation is responsible for allowing over-the-horizon VHF and UHF communications to ranges of approximately 300 miles on a regular basis? Tropospheric ducting. T3C07. What band is best suited for communicating via meteor scatter? 6 meters. T3C08. What causes tropospheric ducting? Temperature inversions in the atmosphere. T3C09. What is generally the best time for long-distance 10-meter band propagation via the F region? From dawn to shortly after sunset during periods of high sunspot activity. T3C10. Which of the following bands may provide long-distance communications via the ionosphere's F region during the peak of the sunspot cycle? 6 and 10 meters. T3C11. Why is the radio horizon for VHF and UHF signals more distant than the visual horizon? The atmosphere refracts radio waves slightly.
Operator 7G, please